Let's be honest, I didn't play Nier, you didn't play Nier, and if you did, feel free to act smug in the comments below. But why is Square Enix reviving this 8-year-old franchise? And is it worth it? Let's find out. As the credits for Nier Automata began to roll, I couldn't help but feel underwhelmed. After investing over 12 hours, it abruptly concluded with the traditional melancholy anime flair. Sure, the fast-paced combat was ravishing, yes, the story's deconstruction of mortality was intriguing, and the supporting cast personalities were fully fleshed out. But there remained a lingering doubt. Why go to all this effort only to comfortably regress into a standard narrative? Fortunately, the numerous endings and conclusions are a mirage, concealing additional campaigns, subplots, and gameplay mechanics. Nier Automata is a rare title that leaves its audience wanting more and immediately delivers. 10,000 years into the future, humanity has vanished from the Earth. Alien machines continue their violent campaign for domination of the planet, forcing mankind to take refuge on lunar bases. In their absence, the android military unit known as Yorhai wages war against the occupying army, with the singular goal of returning the world to its indigenous inhabitants. But hidden between the battlefields are small pockets of peaceful societies. Machines designed for conflict proclaim independence and pacifism, while the Yorhai escalate their operations. Unable to escape the android assault, mechanical life evolves, producing 2 advanced humanoids. Now soldiers 2B and 9S must investigate these unusual life forms before they transcend into an unstoppable enemy. To put it plainly, Nier Automata's narrative is one of the best video game stories in recent memory. On its surface, it resembles a cookie-cutter post-apocalyptic sci-fi tale. And make no mistake, that's intentional. The first playthrough is a bombardment of eye-rolling cliches and half-baked morality lessons, while giving playful peeks of a more complex philosophy. Once past the initial adventure, all of the audience's suspicions are confirmed, as Nier gleefully tears down its superficial facade, wholly rejecting the previously established concepts for an ambiguous and uncomfortable tone, transforming common mechanics such as item shops and boss battles into haunting existential allegories. That's not to say the first storyline is unnecessary. Far from it. Nier Automata deliberately pushes players into curiously meaningless objectives. It expects you to question the significance of the events, the development of relationships, and even the relevance of video games. And yet, it still delivers an immensely satisfying gameplay experience, merging hack-and-slash combat, side-scrolling platforming, top-down shooting, and open-world exploration. Though jarring at first, these systems are spaced out just enough to keep every section fresh and exciting. As highly advanced androids, both 2B and 9S excel at melee conflicts, with blazing fast sword swipes and tactically timed dodges. Performing snappy combos makes short work of most enemies, but Nier adds the wrinkle of projectile launching support units, requiring players to nimbly switch between the firing and dive shoulder buttons. Ground combat strikes a solid balance between unhinged power fantasy and technical challenge. Air battles take the form of a classic overhead shooter, where the androids must weave between incoming shots and return fire. Luckily for 2B, some bullets can be destroyed. These sections demand a close eye for detail in order to recognize unblockable threats and temporary obstacles. Nier's greatest gameplay concept combines both systems as optional strategies. While enemies can still be dispensed with melee strikes, hacking immediately teleports players into an abstract shooter, with successful attempts destroying nearby adversaries in the real world. Though this might appear to be a safe alternative to fighting, the machine's combat proficiency is always reflected in their internal complexity. Simple grunts only take a few shots to down, and larger foes and bosses resemble bullet hell puzzles, requiring dozens of enemies to be destroyed over the course of multiple hacks. This brilliant collage of mechanics is unlike anything else in the action genre, but it's the polished execution that makes it so remarkable. Whether dueling on foot or in digital assaults, Nier's tight controls and skill-focused trials are in a class of their own. The open world, on the other hand, doesn't fare quite as well. Earth's dilapidated buildings and natural settings provide a diverse backdrop for the explosive chaos, but their design is uninspired. Locations come in 2 varieties: expansive empty environments and claustrophobic corridors. There's certainly a charm in traversing between humid deserts, wrecked business districts, and thriving forests, though given the significant amount of backtracking in the game's early missions, I often relied on fast travel whenever available. These areas are usually reserved for Nier's numerous side quests. While little more than fetch quests and escort missions, these optional events do offer greater insight into the daily lives of androids and machines, as well as earning sought-after resources and components to unlock powerful weapon variants and capabilities. Nier features an unusual progressive system, as enemies tend to match 2B's current level, making it somewhat unnecessary. The true enhancements are tucked away in the chip management system, where everything from controlling powerful robots, automatic item collection, and even the very interface itself can be altered. This added customization offers a rewarding level of depth, allowing players to tweak their preferred gameplay style. Even dozens of hours into the campaign, I found myself continuously experimenting, and always surprised by the drastic results. Now, if only there was a chip for the awkward frame rate. Nier's performance issues are as common as they are inexplicable. During my time, I witnessed busy skirmishes without any interference. And yet, simply walking through a location caused drastic dips and pop-in. Stranger yet, I was unable to recreate these problems, while at one point, the frame rate stuttered for nearly 30 minutes for no apparent reason. And yes, this was played on a PlayStation 4 Pro. This wouldn't be such an issue if the overall graphical presentation was impressive, which for the most part, it isn't, with natural environments featuring oddly geometrical layouts and flat under-detailed textures. And that's a real shame given Nier's compelling art style, where the android's human features come off as cold and distant, while the rusting machine's eyes carry an emotional aura. This is all accompanied by the enriching sound and music design. Every attack, shot, and explosion produces an aural pang of impact. The well-directed and performed English voice acting remains accurate to the character's artificial perspective without becoming overly monotone. But it's the gorgeous soundtrack that truly encapsulates this alien future, with haunting vocals and metallic percussions establishing the uneasy alliance between technology and nature. More impressive are the quick cuts from the original tracks to chiptune renditions whenever hacking is engaged. You'll certainly want to bust out the headphones for this one. So, is it worth it? Yes. It's easy to simply view Nier Automata as a stylish action game. After all, it blends gratifying 3D hack and slash with side-scrolling combat and intense top-down shooting. And that alone is a good enough reason to give it a try. But this superb gameplay is only the introduction to Nier Automata's fascinating exploration of identity, duty, morality, and the fragile subjectivity that defines these roles. In many cases, playing feels more like observing rather than influencing, as the characters often betray the audience's intentions. Despite its numerous endings and multiple perspectives, Nier never offers a definitive conclusion, leaving players to contemplate its meaning long after the credits roll. Nier Automata is currently available on the PlayStation 4 and PC for $60. If you've had a chance to play it, let me know what you thought. And if you haven't, let me know if you plan on picking it up. My name is Colin Tanner, and I'll see you in the next video.